Okay, so this first problem here from this warm-up, hopefully you've thought about this, because I know it's a warm-up, but I kind of tossed you something here that you haven't seen before, just to, have something to think about on this day that I'm not there. So what this is called product form. And basically what this is let's just rewrite this. So if I divide this by x minus 5, so y plus 2 equals negative 7 over x minus 5, and then I subtract 2, there is my equation in transformation form. So this is just another form. Once again, this is not going to be assessed on the formative. It is just here to give you something to think about that's a little bit different. So I'm just going to right away here mark my 2 tick marks and then add my horizontal asymptote right through there, and then at x equals 5 is where my vertical asymptote is going to be, so I need to change to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, transformationally speaking, we're going to stretch everything by negative 7. So the table that I'm going to make here, so we're still going to be undefined, this time at 5, but then it's going to shift everything right, so 6 and 4, so negative 1 times 7 minus 2, so that's 5, and negative 7, and then minus 2, negative 9. So we're going to add an extra point here. So this one's pretty far down there. And 4, 5, it's pretty high up there. And the main thing I want to do then is just run this through like this. And that's our graph. So the end behavior as this graph approaches infinity in either direction is going to be negative 2. So this is just another variant on what we've seen, but not going to be assessed. The second question of the warm-up here is, can you write this graph in transformation form? So the first thing we have to check is, okay, where are our asymptotes? Because that's going to tell us this is our h value down here, and this is our k value here. So we already know how the beginning of this is going to look. We're going to have f of x equals a over x minus 2 plus 4. Now we substitute in a value to figure out what a equals. So I'm a little bit small on space here, so I'm going to get this one started. 7 equals a over 5 minus 2 plus 4. So doing this, I'm going to get 3 equals a over 3, and then that means that a equals 9, and now my 9s and 3s look a little bit equal. But the main thing that needs to happen now is that if I erase that, that's a 9, make sure that looks like a 9, and that would be my answer for the equation. Now to convert this into product form, just, once again, purely just having this as a conversational topic as different things you could see that are also rational functions, is we'd want to write this as y 9 over x minus 2 plus 4. So you'd want to subtract, so y minus 4 equals 9 over x minus 2. And then you just want to put x minus 2 times y minus 4 equals 9. And that would be your product form version of this. So now, typically this would be another day of just us looking through. This would be a recap of everything that we've done. But notice that not all of this we've covered. So particularly, we haven't done contexts very much of this, and writing equations in contexts. But we're going to do that a little bit through today. So let's take a look at the next problem. On these problems, we're asked to describe the key features. Now, the key features, we're going to want to be very specific about what we write here, about their asymptotes and things like that. So in this, once again, we're going to have to do a little bit of converting here. So we're going to have this be product form. Well, let's just rewrite this. So I don't want you to worry about this too much, so just rewrite it. Y equals 5 over x plus 2 plus 4. That's the correct form of that. So don't worry about that. Not going to have you worry about that. But then from these two graphs, let's compare. Where are their horizontal asymptotes? So both graphs horizontal asymptotes, well, not both graphs. Vertical asymptotes are the same, so let me change that. Vertical asymptotes are at x equals -2. The horizontal asymptote at y equals -4 for the graph while the function, the equation, has y equals 4. And finally, the last thing you can compare is the a value. So the graph is a negative a value. Now this is the most important part. So the graph approaches the right horizontal asymptote from below. The equation is going to approach it from above on the right horizontal asymptote. So I would write that, but I ran out of space. So make sure that you're following along with that and filling that in. I planned poorly for the amount of space that I needed for this. So what I want you to do is look at these two tables, and I want you to compare the key features of these two graphs. So I want you to pause the video and try doing this one on your own. Okay, if you didn't pause the video and you think I'm just going to let you copy this down, you're going to be mistaken. I'm going to just delay this. How long are you going to watch the red dot before you pause it and try this video, try this problem on your own? Okay, hopefully you paused this and tried this on your own now. If you didn't, I don't know what to say. Make sure you try this on your own. So where are the key features for this? So f of x and g of x do not have the same vertical asymptotes. So f of x has a vertical asymptote at x equals 3, while g of x has a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. And also note that they don't have the same horizontal asymptotes. So f of x has a horizontal asymptote at y equals -2, while g of x has a horizontal asymptote at y equals 3. Now, based on the graphs, so what I'm looking at here is the end behavior. 3.01, -2.01, -1.99, and 2.99. This graph is going to have, it's going to look a little bit like this. If I just sketch this real quick, it's going to look like that. Where g of x, on the other hand, is going to look like this. So this is where I wanted you to practice that phrase that we just talked about in the above part. F of x will approach, so try writing this sentence, the horizontal asymptote on the right from above because the a value is positive. G of x will approach the horizontal asymptote on the right from below because the a value is negative. That is the clarity that I want to see. Just stating an a value for one side or another doesn't really tell me as much as I want. So please make sure to do that when you're writing this. Okay, just a couple more problems, and these should be mostly review. So here we have a fun situation about similar to what we did on the warm-up on the first day. Let's look at this situation. A class of students plan to support a family for Give-a-thon. This goal for raising money is $150. 3 students do not contribute to the fundraising. If Y represents the amount each contributor will give, and X represents the total number of students in the class, answer the following. Write an equation to represent the number of dollars per contributor as a function of the total number of students. So, what's going on here is we want to know the cost per person. So cost per person, we're familiar with this, is the total divided by the number of people. Ooh, that's not how you spell people. So total divided by the number of people. So we need to know how much the total is, $150 based on this context. And the number of people, well, there's X number of people, but 3 people do not want to contribute. So is that more or less people to add to it? So think about representing, how do we represent the number of people who are participating? That's going to be X, the number of the people in the class, but 3 do not participate. So now there's an equation that we could use to represent the cost per person, but like always we're going to ask the follow-up question. What numbers would make sense in this feasible domain? And the key idea, remember we brought this up in class, is we want the feasible domain, so the X values be positive, and it usually does not make sense unless it's bounded. Because we're dealing with context, most times, what would a negative represent? So how does this situation become positive and bounded? What's an upper end that would make sense? So think about that. Maybe pause this if you're watching with another person and say, okay, let's talk about that. What would be a positive and bounded part of this function? Did you talk to anyone? I think that's a good time. Find a stranger maybe you're sitting next to and be like, have you learned about rational functions? They're quite applicable, and you could tell them about how you can model splitting costs per people. I mean, what a great opportunity. Meet someone new, teach them something, make the world a better place. If you want my opinion about what a feasible domain could be, even though there's numerous ways of possible answers, the x values could be: we need more than 3 people to participate in the class. We need whole numbers, so no fractional people. And the max is the class size. You could say the number specifically, but just think, well, there's a class size that we'd have this limited. Okay, great. You've been moving along well. So now there's one last question here before I let you just go loose and try the homework here. Determine which rational functions would have the following domain and range. Circle all that apply. So once again, there's a couple of these hidden that are going to make you convert them into transformation form. So just let me do that for you. Y equals 5 over x plus 2. And here we have y equals, after we convert everything, 9 over x plus 2. So which one of these will have a domain that does not include 2 and a range that does not include 0? Well, A seems pretty likely, so I'm going to circle that one. B, there's nothing being added onto it, and it doesn't allow for 2. Ooh, I just realized a mistake I made on the previous one. This one is at -2. This one's at +2, so good thing I'm paying attention to this and catch my mistakes. If we look at C, asymptote's at 0, so this one looks like it's almost switched. And this one has an asymptote at -2 again, so the domain, it's not the right thing. Okay, let's check this one. Error. Yep, that's what we want to see. Does it look like it's approaching 0? I'm going to have to say yes. So I'm going to circle this one. Compare this to this other table. This one looks like it's approaching 2 for the end behavior, but the error is at 0. That looks like it's switched again. So the answer would be B and E. At this point, go ahead, try homework number 5, and that's kind of a review of everything. We're going to look more at problems like number 3 and more context that would be modeled with rational functions tomorrow in class. If you have any questions, please email me. If you think there's a better way to make this video more enjoyable, let me know. Send me an email, and I'd be happy to hear your inputs. Have a good rest of your day, and I'm excited to be back in class with you. I planned a really fun lesson for tomorrow. Thanks.